Jeg lærte engang en filmmand, at man skal se det, hvis man laver interviews, skal man være unaturligt tæt sammen.
Ja, godt. Jamen, så lad os gå. Hej, og velkommen til.
In English or Danish?
There was an English, we talked about.
Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm a little bit also a little hectic because you just came with a flight and you just arrived about, 5 minutes ago?
Yeah.
And the idea is that you have in 1 hour, you're going on stage in there to do a big presentation. So exciting stuff. We've got like half an hour together, and welcome to another Hero's Journey live interview here with Steinar Ditlefsen.
I love to be here with Edward. Fantastic.
Happy to be here as well. And Steinar, you are an international speaker. You're a businessman as well. You've made international seminars. And I know that you help speakers a lot and you help different business owners with growing their business and their potential. Is there anything I missed in that sentence?
No, probably a lot of things you missed.
Yeah. Anything I got wrong then?
No, but you're right. I do work as a speaker, public speaker, and I do seminars. I do my heart power seminars, which is spiritual training, and then I feel like my mission on this planet is to help teachers becoming transformational teachers. So evolving into, there's whoever has something to say can stand up on the stage and just tell people, but from there to evolving into a transformational teacher. That's a journey. And I want to inspire teachers, public speakers, seminar leaders, coaches, therapists, consultants, everyone who actually have human meetings. So teachers, they meet humans, and those meetings can be transformational or they can be informational. So sometimes you get some new information.
So I think one thing that would be really nice, because I know what you're talking about when you mean transformational, but for the audience and for the person who doesn't know quite what does it mean to be transformational.
Okay.
As a teacher.
Yeah, I get that. Thank you. So if you have something to share, and you have maybe an expertise or a story or an experience, something can help other people improving their lives, their business, their relationships, anything. You want to share that because of course, we want to help other people. Then you become a teacher because you share and you teach people, instruct them in some parts of their lives, areas in their lives where they can improve. A transformational teacher, when you meet him or her, there is a before and an after. So if you're sitting in the audience, and probably many of the people who watch this, we have both had that experience. We listen to somebody and we just feel that my life will never be the same again.
Yeah.
We know I came here, I had some kind of expectations. Now I leave with some kind of change in my heart, in my body. I feel a shift in energy. I feel a shift in my decisions. I feel a new direction in my life. So a true transformational teacher, he's not only shared some valuable content, but he has ignited something within the other person so that the other person feel somehow changed. And there is different levels on that. But I think as a teacher, we should all aspire to be able to bring our message to people in a way so they feel energized, lifted, hopeful, optimistic, like they've got a new hope. Simply. Sometimes you learn, you hear people, you learn a lot, and you think it was interesting, but you go home and you do nothing different.
Yeah, I have tried that a lot. So you're talking about it's levels. Is that at the maybe basic level there's education, there's knowledge, there's learning something about business or the self-development, all this, and then you go deeper and deeper. You get into transformational, where you hear a speaker and it actually transforms who you are as a person.
Yeah, exactly. I started doing public speaking maybe 8 years ago. And I want to go on stage. I want to share something. I wanted to be enthusiastic. I wanted to give people an experience, and I did. So people were excited.
I've seen you live. Yeah, it's an experience.
But then I also met a lot of. I did something that was I didn't know that it was so clever, but it was really. I contacted a lot.
I like the humbleness. It's very here in Denmark. Like I knew it was pretty. I didn't know it was that good, but it was pretty amazing.
It was actually. Maybe it was a really smart move. I contacted a lot of transformational teachers. I studied more than 100 world-class presentations. I always sat in the one side of the audience so I could watch the audience, observe the audience, and see what was going on the stage.
That's smart, yeah.
So sometimes I saw the speaker had the time of their life on stage, but the audience was like this. Some speakers, they believe if the audience does this, they think, oh, they're very focused, but they're not. Their heads are heavy.
Yeah.
You know. So I saw that, and sometimes I saw people, speakers on stage. Maybe sometimes also they were that animated, but still something magical happened in the audience. So I always wondered, how can I crack that code? Can I find out what makes the difference? And I think I did. So I analyzed more than 100 presentations, and I found some patterns. Also, along the way, I've done seminars with some of the master teachers in the world today, spiritual teachers, transformational teachers. They have come to my seminar. We've been together on stage, and I've seen sometimes that they can tell words, same words that other people can say. You know, you need to visualize, and then everything, you will manifest everything. And then you meet some people, and they say the same words, and something happens inside in the participants to the seminar or in the audience. So
transformation.
That's the transformation. You go home and you feel, I'll never be the same again. And I think that's, you know, it's for many speakers. You go on stage, you become kind of a rock star. You have spotlights. You're on. Yeah. You're actually 50 centimeters above the audience. They're sitting. You're standing. So you look down on them, and you talk to them. But we should aspire what we should aspire to always is to be able to lift the audience more, to be able to give them more hope, and not only being a content provider. So that's my mission. Yeah. Many speakers are content providers.
I love that you mentioned that the idea of, you know, as a speaker, you sometimes put yourself a little bit above the audience and all this, and you can't disconnect. And a lot of what I see in professionals and in business is that they're separated from the audience, because even you're like, you look fantastic. You came in with a flight and everything. For a lot of people, that would look like, how can I ever achieve something like that? You go out and you look to 100 different speakers, and you see all the key signs. So what the point of the Hero's Journey interviews was to kind of get back to where you started, so we can see that story, that authentic transformation of, you went from the struggle as well. You went through that fight as well.
No, I didn't. No,
you just landed here like, here I am, I'm perfect.
I just jumped on stage. No, I remember very, very clearly. I was living in Denmark. I couldn't even speak proper Danish. I still can't, but I have my Norwegian accent. So when I told people I'm going to become a public speaker, they looked at me like, okay, interesting. So then you probably have planned to go to Danish courses also. So thank you for believing in me, right?
Learn the language first and then come back.
But I felt it deep in my heart. So I called around to people and said, I'm a public speaker. I have never done a presentation, but I called myself. I said, I'm a public speaker. I have so much to share. I couldn't get one single speaker gig. Not anyone. Yeah. Finally, I got one up in Norway, and I thought, first I thought, Norway, okay, because of course they could understand what I said. So, and then I thought, okay, I could, maybe I just start international, go international from the very beginning. Yeah. It was my dad's shop up in Norway. So,
that was the first gig.
Yeah, and I had to pay for my own. I drove my car to 10 or 12 hours up to a little city in South Norway, a Thursday night, and there were 4 people there. Yeah. I paid for that, but that was my first presentation. We became 5 because there were like windows on in the hall, and there was somebody there cleaning the floor.
Yeah.
And my dad said, "Come in, get some pizza here." And then we were 5, And I said something, not very structured presentation, but I was enthusiastic, and there was something there that I had learned that had helped me. And some people there, 2 or 3 people there became very inspired. So half of the audience loved it.
Yeah. That's a good rate, though. That's pretty good. I mean, half of them is better than...
Almost everybody loved it, right? Because my daddy also loved it. So
you could also say, like, only 2 people didn't like it. Like, that's...
No, they liked it, but, So I was very inspired. I think, the whole world must hear what I have to say. So I called everybody, but still I couldn't get anything because when they started talking about the fee, I tried to get the fee, and then immediately I felt when I said so many thousand kroners, I felt, oh no, I'm not worth it. So, I never came on stage until one day at a school, a carpenter, what you call it, carpenter class. So I, 150 students there. I was totally out of touch with them. I had my nice suit, my white shirt, and everything. And I talked to them like I was from another planet.
Yeah.
So I had on the chairs, I put papers so they could write their email address. Future customers. Yeah.
In a couple of years.
But at that school, it was perfect to make a paper ball. So in the middle of this, in the middle of the presentation, I started seeing people turning and shouting to each other, and I saw these kind of snowballs in the room, and all the teachers, they took each door to guard the door because this was Friday afternoon. They didn't want to be there. So I was like so distant to them.
Yeah.
I really want to learn this, how I could connect with people. And finally I learned it. I took so many seminars and I studied the transformational teachers. And finally what I learned, it took a few years, but I learned that it's good to learn the speaker techniques and the mechanics of a presentation. That's good, and it's sometimes necessary. But what is so much more important is to really be able to speak to people's heart.
Yeah.
And you cannot, if you try to make a performance as a speaker. Many speakers.
Yeah. Actually, one of my friends mentioned to me when I make these interviews is that I should sometimes go a little bit against what the speaker says. Like, I'm nodding my head here because I look up to what you do, and I really see that you do something that makes a difference for people. But let's challenge it a little bit. Like, for someone who's watching this from the outside and saying, well, speak to their heart. Like, what is this? Yeah, okay. A little bit long haired and all this.
I get that. So for me, it's very easy to speak to your heart. That's just a word. What I see is speak to people. You could also say speak to their feelings, or to their truth, or to their higher self. If you're in the spiritual field, you'll probably say it to their higher self, or to something that gives them deep meaning. So it's a sense of deep meaning, not intellectually that I can see that makes sense. No, not that. The feeling of being in alignment with something deep, a deeper truth in you,
It just got more long hair though. I get it though, but at the same time, I still got more long hair because I'm on a challenge a little bit. I was in a class yesterday actually about speaking and about presentation, and they talked about the techniques and all this. You have to prepare right. You need to have the body language. You need to have the good PowerPoint and all this. I don't think you even use PowerPoints.
No, never.
So all those surface level tricks and tips you've got as speakers, you don't really recommend that anymore.
Somehow I do, but first things first, and what comes first here. I see. I totally get you, and I'm not saying you should not learn that. I'm only saying that's only one thing. That's superficial. The magic happens when we connect on a deeper level, and you don't need to be religious or spiritual. You can. It's not about that. It's about the feeling that this is so incredible. The feeling that this can change my life. Let me give an example. I read a lot of articles once. I remember that. Different magazines, and they said, if you drink green tea, it's so incredible things going on in your body. Even your DNA becomes younger. Or your DNA, if you take, I don't know how they can see that, but if you look at your DNA after a few years, your DNA will look younger. I thought that's incredible.
That's very cool, yeah.
I still drank my coffee. So I got some information.
Yeah.
But it didn't change my life.
Yeah.
Information never changes your life. Then I heard an American brain scientist, and he made a whole new perspective. Not only he showed a picture of two brains, one who only for 30 years only drinking coffee, one who replaced half of it with green tea, and we could see the difference. Ooh. And then, but also he kind of made a perspective. What would that mean for you, being older? For your kids, your grandchildren. And now I'm looking at my kids. Yeah. I'm thinking, okay, in 20 years they might have kids. That's my grandchildren. Which brain do I want to have? How could it impact my family and my own life if I changed? I'm going back from, this is in San Francisco. A few days later, I come back to Denmark, jump out of the airplane, and the first thing I run into a shop and I buy 2 bags of green tea. And I come back to my wife and she said, "What's this?" I'm going to drink green tea.
Yeah, we quit the coffee. Now it's green tea only.
So I felt it was so. It gives so much sense for me. So it changed my life. Yeah. Nothing changes unless we take new actions. Yeah. So every teacher, and this is again, it's nothing to do about religiosity or spirituality. Spirituality in a broader definition. So, but you don't need to define yourself as I'm a very spiritual person. No. It's not like that.
No, I think the message got through now. That makes sense for me as well. The point is that you give people something that really transforms their life, that really helps them make that difference and that change in their lives.
So if I'm on stage, I talk for 90 minutes, and then people say, "Wow, that was such a presentation." Now they go home, and let's say their husband or wife or some girlfriend, somebody says, "Was it cool? Yeah. What did it say? Yeah." And then you start talking. After 3 minutes, you say, "I think that was pretty much what he said." Yeah. But he talked for
90 minutes.
For 90 minutes, and you remembered 3 minutes of the words, right? So information, we have this enormous confidence in information, in the word.
Yeah.
But we should focus more on the action. That if we could say things, show perspectives that actually leads to new actions in the audience. So the audience get, okay, now I believe I can do it. So I go home, I change my life. I do new things. Yeah. Now my life is changing. Yeah. That's pretty cool. And I think
that's extremely cool.
I
want to run you a little bit because I love hearing about this. And it's so inspiring as well, and it resonates as well with me, and I can feel that into my core as well, as someone who wants to also influence and help other people. I want to keep it on track for the interview though as well, because I want to get to know the person behind all that as well. Like, you've had your story now, starting out with these kids playing throwing these snowballs around, and how did you go from there to where you are now? Where, as far as I understand, you live in Spain. You travel a lot, you have customers around the world, you're international working, you're doing speaking events all the time, and you're doing this, and you're earning good pay, like you're earning your life.
So here's the thing. It's a very old book called Tao Te Ching, Tao Te Ching or something. It's a Chinese book from 2,500 years ago, ancient book, and it says, a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. Yeah. So it's one step and one step and then another step. That's pretty much it. And then we focus on how we can serve more. But there is one thing. One little tricks, hacker tricks, you know, in this world of, so many people, they talk about.
I'm taking notes.
Yeah, they a few years ago it was a a movie called The Secret.
Yeah.
So it was about if you visualize what you want to or want to manifest in your life, you will eventually get it.
Mm-hmm.
So many people, they do affirmations or they think about their goals, goal setting.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a hacker trick.
Yeah.
But it takes a level of trust to do this. But I found that, Zig Ziglar was a very famous motivational speaker in America. One of the legends. He said once, if you can help enough people to get what they want in life, you can get everything you want in life.
Ooh.
So instead of, I use a lot of my thoughts and my visualizations and my hopes, I put them into, I really want my audience to succeed.
Mm-hmm.
So I think if we really believed in that, because every time people heard that makes sense. If you can help a billion people improving their lives, you could probably have some kind of results for yourself also.
Yeah, makes very good sense.
But most people, they go in their world. This is my goals. This is what I want to manifest. I want to have this. I want this for me, and they forget the people they serve.
Mm-hmm.
What if we shifted? And I think this, as teacher, huge impact on our teaching. If we shifted, forgetting ourselves a little bit more, and then visualizing success for our followers, for our audience, praying for them. If you pray, meditating for them. If you meditate, affirmations for them. If you believe in affirmations, it's so powerful. Because when you meet your audience, they can feel that you have an open heart for them, or that you have an energy that is a kind of I cannot express it in English, but
there's a heart, there's a love, there's something there,
yeah,
and I get.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to interrupt you a little bit in this one as well, because you're completely right. And normally I say I'll be a little bit like, come on, that sounds silly, but it actually happened to me last year that we had a coaching session together for about 2 hours, and you gave me one advice that I actually remembered. The 90 minutes, and it was like I remember 3 minutes, and it was focused on your audience.
Yeah.
Make sure you have that core defined, and then go from there and work backwards. And it finally clicked. Like, I've been working in business for so long, but I finally I got that.
Yeah.
And since then, everything I've been doing in my business has been so much easier. And that was one small advice for you. So that transformation you talked about, that really happens when you actually do this.
Especially as teachers, because we go on stage in front of people, but it's not really about us. It's about what we can give them and what we can provide to them. And if our focus all day long is my growth, my business, my thing, we forget what it's all about. It's our people. And if we can help those people, and if we can be open, creative, and get ideas on how we can help those people, they will get success in different areas of their lives, regardless of what you're speaking about. And that if they get success, you'll probably have some kind of success.
Comes back to you as well. That's fantastic. So I normally ask this question a little bit later, but on the topic of helping others, like, how can the audience help you? If someone wants to help you in some way, what could they do for you?
I think we all have a little. We play a little part, right? We're not. None of us are a whole orchestra. We play our part. I play my little part. If I can do my little thing in this world, that's okay for me. Right now, I feel that a little thing I want to give is if we can move into a new era where it's not about entertainment is good, but it's not where it's not about entertainment, where it's not about performance, but where it's about the teachers meeting their audience with one intention. I'm here for you to help you.
Fantastic.
That's if we
that's
can evolve.
Inspiring. I gotta say, I'm giddy from that. Like, we should do that. Let's go make that happen. What can we do?
That would be awesome. Because then we have all of us, and the times of boring, or times where you do presentations and you can laugh, and then you're kind of
your muscles here getting sore.
Sore in your chin because you laugh so much, but you're empty in your heart. I want people to. I want change. I want us to go into a future where the speakers when they are on stage, people become filled up, hopeful, feel strong, go home.
I love that. I want to ask for the interview here as well,
yeah.
and because we want to get to know who are you and why you're doing that. Then why do you want to do that? So
I have no idea.
It's just answer.
Just something that has emerged in me.
Yeah,
could probably been a lot of different things, but I along the way started doing public speaker training, seminars, all the usual stuff. And then I saw what's really needed is authenticity. People who are able to be vulnerable. Many speakers, you as you said, it looks so fantastic, and you can admire and everything. But then we all have our sides or our parts in life where we suffer, where we have challenging times.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
you know, some people are afraid of sharing that, because you know, I'm a teacher, I should be very successful in every part of life. But nobody are. Most people have struggles, and they are always faced some kind of struggles where they had to hang on for some time. If a speaker has the courage to be vulnerable and can share that, creates an enormous hope in the audience, because now they see you're just like me.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you hear speakers and you feel they're from another planet. I could never do that. It's not my genes.
Yeah.
You know. But if they could share their vulnerability, it's a hard word for me, people would actually believe them even more, because now they feel comforted.
We feel connection, we feel trust, we know their story, and we can relate to that as well.
Yeah. And then you can share your achievements. You can share your achievements, because now they know you're being out on the field, the battlefield. You know, you have.
So what is your battlefield story? What is your struggle?
It's so many. You know, from the day I started, it was one day I lost my business. I failed big time, and actually that day I happened to buy a book, because I happened to buy a book. I've not opened it. The title was "Awaken Your Giant Within." It was Tony Robbins, a guy with like this white horse teeth, smiling at the cover. And then I got the message. It's all over. So I was so. It's nothing. I actually that day I had to go out in the garage and see how many empty bottles we had. Because you know, in Denmark you can get pant, you can get some kroners. Because I knew we have nothing, not even tomorrow. You know, that was pretty tough time. And I opened the book, and on page 11, I saw this little quote. You know, I felt like I had three small kids, and I was going to go into my wife and tell that it's over. I failed, and I was not prepared on that. I didn't know, because I you know, a lot of things. So I opened the book because I procrastinated. I didn't want to go into her and tell. And then on page 11, I remember this it's like, I saw this little quote from a guy, Orison Swett Marden. It says, "Deep within man slumbers these powers that would astonish him if he knew they existed. Forces that could revolutionize his life if they were awakened and put into action in his life." And I was like, I felt so disconnected to all that. So I read it again, and deep within man, and I'm in the target group of this, you know, deep within man. Yeah. Probably in the target group. But I couldn't feel the powers, but I believed it.
Yeah.
It changed my life. That day, that quote changed my life.
Wow.
So if you're a teacher and you're inspired and you have got some help, write it down, tell it to people, because one day the winds will carry those words, and they will find a person who deeply needs it, and it can transform their lives. So you never know. You post it on Facebook, you put up a video, and suddenly somewhere in the world, somebody who absolutely needed that word will get it. That's how the universe works. I've seen that again and again. I trust it, And I encourage everybody to, so don't hold back. Somebody right now, while you're listening to me, somebody is searching on Google to find help for things that you can help them with. Somebody is waiting for you to sing your song. So let's do it. That's my message. Yeah.
Fantastic. Awesome.
Yeah.
Time-wise, we're almost at an end. So I just want to, let's finish up. Like some of the questions I have here we didn't quite get to, but we got to the most important.
We'll take them next time.
We'll take them next time. Yeah. Because I want the person watching this to feel this, that this is possible, and that even you who's gotten so far have had these times when you really went down.
Yeah.
And you definitely have. I can feel your stories when you share them. So these questions are not that important. We had the one about how we can help you. One thing I always like to finish up with is normally I actually ask the guest to bring it with them. We normally in their home or now, but now we're here because you're doing the presentation. But it is 3 things about you. So it is, first of all, it's a book that you really recommend.
Yeah.
And then you don't like to share it or show it. But it's one book that you recommend the watchers to read.
I can recommend 100 books because I love to read. I really,
That's funny.
I really do.
Every guest I've had so far said that. I don't know what it is.
But my treasure is Tao Te Ching. It's an old book, 2,500 years old. A simple guy from China. He went into a guest house and they could understand his wisdom. So they said, "Can you write down your wisdom?" He wrote down his wisdom in 81 verses, and then next day he left, and nobody ever seen him after that. But the book has been, it's the greatest leadership book in ever. There's so much wisdom. It's ancient. It's pure wisdom. It's maybe a little, if you've never read anything like that, you should do it anyway. Yeah. But it's it's a book where you can contemplate, because there's so much about life in it. I would that's the book I would always give people. Yeah.
The Tao Te Ching.
Yeah, Tao Te Ching.
Tao Te Ching, fantastic. I read The Wisdom of the Tao. Maybe it's similar?
Probably the same book. It has, I think it's the same book.
Okay.
Because,
very profound, and that's something you can read again and again.
Yeah,
so I can see why you would recommend that one. Fantastic. Next thing is a picture from your life.
A picture?
Yeah. So you don't really have it with you now, but you're a fantastic speaker. So I'm sure that you can actually just paint the picture for the audience.
Okay. So when you said that, one picture popped up in my head. I've not seen that picture for maybe a year, but so I had to share that. We were in Malaga, and I have no idea what this means, but we were in Malaga in Andalusia, south of Spain. And then we went up in the hills. It was beautiful. It was in the autumn, so it was flowers and almonds trees. It was simply beautiful. Purple flowers on the trees, And then we lost our little daughter, so she disappeared and she was gone. And we tried to find her, and she was gone. And then I suddenly saw her in the field. So many this blooming hills. Yeah. She sat down and she just was 100% in one with the nature and everything. And I said, "What did you do?" "I just meditated," she said.
Wow.
It's one of the most. I took a picture actually, so I have a picture. It's the most beautiful picture I've ever seen. So when you said a picture from my life,
I like that.
That was a moment.
That's
was
fantastic.
a moment. And she was 7 years old, and I didn't even know that she meditated. So she said, "I just meditated."
I wonder who taught her that. Do you think? Where did she learn that from?
I don't know.
No.
Could be somebody she knows. Yeah.
All right, and so the last thing, it's one is a picture, one is a book, and then one is a thing that you can choose from your life. So it would normally be an object or an item that has significance for you.
If I can choose,
you can choose anything. Yeah. Someone brought in a piano. Someone brought in honey from their bee farm.
A wine opener.
A wine opener. I love how you went first deep with the town, the spirituality, and then you went deep with the daughter, and then you went back up with the wine opener.
I didn't know that could be a
I like that. Okay. Yeah. That's good because that kind of it's full circle. It's the heart, it's the spirituality, and it's enjoying the physical realm as well.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much. I think we're out of time, and I can see the guests are coming out.
I loved it.
It was
amazing.
So much fun. Yeah.
Thank you for your work, because I know people get inspired by your videos and your work, and I'm inspired every time I talk with you. So you should know that. I love it because you have this fantastic, amazing, super energy.
Thank you very much.
I love it, brother.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're still live for a second, so let me just finish that one. Ending live video.
Are you good?